Let's talk about carbs. Seriously, are they the amazing fuel that powers our bodies, or are they secretly wrecking our health? I mean, if you've spent any time online, you know the advice is all over the place. It's enough to make your head spin. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're going to get to the truth.
And this is the question, right? It feels like we've been in this massive tug of war for years. One side is telling you to go low carb, while the other has carbs as the foundation of a healthy diet. So which is it, friend or foe? It seems like a simple question, but believe me, the answer is anything but.
And this is exactly why we're all so confused. You open a magazine and it's all, carbs are the best fuel for your body. Then you walk into a bookstore and the bestseller is screaming, carbs are toxic. It feels like you have to pick a side in this war. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? What if the real story is, well, a little more interesting?
Okay, so to get to that truth, we need to stop thinking about carbs as just one thing. We have to go beyond that simple four-letter word on the nutrition label. Because honestly, as a category, it's just way too broad to be useful.
So here's the absolute most important thing to get. Not all carbs are created equal. That's it. That's the key. Thinking all carbs are the same is like thinking all fuel is the same. You know, you wouldn't put cheap gas in a high-performance race car, would you? Well, our bodies are even more specific. The type of carb we eat matters a lot. I love this analogy because it just makes everything click. Think of simple carbs, the stuff in sugary drinks, white bread, pastries, as kindling for a fire. Poof, it gives you this huge, fast burst of energy, and then you crash. But complex carbs, the kind you find in oats, beans, veggies, they're like a big, solid log on the fire. They burn slow and steady, giving you sustained energy that lasts.
And hiding inside those complex carbs is this unsung hero, dietary fiber. Now, the weird thing about fiber is that it's the part our bodies can't actually digest. And that's its superpower. It's absolutely crucial for keeping your gut healthy, it helps control your blood sugar, and it makes you feel full and satisfied. It's pretty amazing stuff.
But here's the kicker. This is the part that's truly shocking. According to the USDA, a staggering 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber. 95%. That means almost all of us are choosing the fast-burning kindling over the slow-burning log. And yeah, that has consequences.
So we know there are different kinds of carbs. We've got the kindling and we've got the logs. Now let's look at the hard science. What does the data say they actually do to our bodies over the long haul?
Yeah, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not just about that 3 p.m. energy slump. This is about our risk for major chronic diseases down the road. So what does the actual research from big global health organizations have to say about it? Well, you can't get much clearer than this. This isn't some influencer's opinion. This is the World Health Organization. They state very clearly that diets full of those high-quality, fiber-rich carbs, the logs, are linked to better health and a lower risk of disease. That's not a fad, my friends. That is a global scientific consensus. And here's what that looks like in practice. This is from a massive review of studies. It found that people who ate the most whole grains had a 22% lower risk of heart disease, just by choosing the right kind of carb fuel. That is a huge protective effect.
Now, let's flip the coin. Look what happens when we look at the other guys, those simple kindling carbs. A high intake of added sugars is linked to a 38% higher risk of dying from heart disease. One lowers your risk, the other dramatically raises it. The contrast could not be more clear. So where is all this sugar hiding? Well, the obvious culprits are there. Sugary drinks, desserts, snacks, that's 2/3 of it right there. But look closer. It's also hiding in places you might not expect, like salad dressings, ketchup, and even a lot of breakfast cereals that we think are healthy.
And the story is exactly the same when we look at type 2 diabetes. The research is so consistent. Fiber and whole grains, protective. They help your body handle insulin better. Sugar-sweetened drinks, they have one of the strongest links to an increased risk. You know, the big takeaway here is that one of the single best things you can do is just swap out refined grains for whole grains. It's a game changer. And just when you thought fiber couldn't get any cooler, there's this. It's not just roughage that passes through you. It's actually food, a prebiotic, for the trillions of good bacteria living in your gut. And keeping those little guys happy is linked to everything from a better immune system to improved mental health.
Okay, so we've nailed down that quality is king. But there's another really important layer here. Because when it comes to nutrition, one size fits all is a myth. Context is everything.
And this is actually super liberating to realize. There is no magic number. There is no perfect amount of carbs you should eat. The right approach for you depends completely on you, your body, your lifestyle, what you're trying to achieve.
Just take a look at this comparison. It makes perfect sense, right? Someone who works at a desk all day has totally different fuel requirements than a marathon runner. The athlete is going to need more carbs, especially around their workouts, to fuel performance and help recover. The office worker might focus more on getting that nutrient-dense fiber from veggies without needing that huge energy load. And activity level is just one piece of the pie. We also have to consider your metabolic health, things like insulin resistance. Your genetics play a role. Your age plays a role. And of course, your specific goals matter. Are you trying to lose weight, build muscle, or just feel great? All of these things help define what's right for you. So, with all of this information floating around, how do we actually move forward? What do we do tomorrow? Let's boil it all down to a simple, powerful framework you can actually use. I want you to really let this sink in. This is the whole point. The goal is not to declare war on carbs. It's not about fear or eliminating an entire food group. It is simply about making smart, strategic upgrades from lower quality choices to higher quality ones. And here's your playbook. It's just 3 simple steps. First, become a detective. Start looking at labels to find and cut back on those sneaky added sugars. Second, make fiber your new best friend. Actively look for ways to get more veggies, fruits, and beans onto your plate. And third, make that simple swap. Brown rice instead of white, whole wheat bread instead of white. That's it. And you know what? Maybe the best way to think about this is to flip the script entirely. Instead of focusing on what you have to subtract or restrict, focus on what you can add. Add more fiber, add more nutrients, add more delicious whole foods. It's a much more positive way to approach it, and it naturally pushes the lower quality stuff out of the way. And that brings us to our final thought for today. After digging through all the science and all the data, what if the biggest change we can make isn't about the food at all? What if it's about our mindset? Shifting from fear and confusion to a place of knowledge and empowerment. Now that's food for thought.